Are you struggling with money in marriage? Do this. Dr. Myles Munroe brought to us basically this concept on couples aligning with God's financial principles, right? It says they experience more than just wealth. They experience peace, unity, and divine protection. And so understanding these concepts, we're going to elaborate today. Today's message and today's conversation is going to be about introducing the concept of kingdom finances, right? And marriage working together as a divine partnership. Hello, everybody. Sani Bunani.
Thank you for being part of our family. My name is Pumla, the Lady of Power.
My name is Grandmaster Bugsy, aka Jave. And together we are the Boyd Walkers. So, did you know that giving can transform not just your finances, but more in your marriage too?
It was at this moment that he knew.
Anyways.
Did you know that giving transform not just your finances, but your marriage too?
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't?
No, I didn't know.
Now you know. Because we're going to get into it and we're going to talk about it.
So we do want to introduce the concept of the difference between giving, or we want to basically highlight, right? So giving is the same as tithing, right? And I think a lot of us have some negative connotation with tithing because religious people have made us feel a certain way about it and the kind of like the construct that goes around with that. And so we're saying that I'm going to give you the true meaning of tithing and how tithing has nothing to do with religion.
Yes.
All right. So number one, it says tithing is more than just giving. It is a kingdom principle that aligns believers under God's lordship and rulership. Dr. Myles Munroe often taught that the kingdom of God operates under divine laws. And tithing is one of those laws that activates provision,
protection,
and financial order.
Starting with step one. So step one is giving unlocks financial growth and relationship blessings. So how does it do that? Do you want to
elaborate
and let us know how do you feel like what's going on with your relationship right now and your marriage regarding giving?
So number one, we had a conversation the other day and we were talking about when we... Yesterday?
I don't know.
It was yesterday. We were talking about our experience when our money felt like it was tied up, right? And when we were coming from a place of lack and a place of fear too as well, right? And it was more of like, oh, we're going to give like $20 or whatever the case may be. Or we don't have enough right now. We got to pay these bills and stuff like that. And it was just
choking.
That was choking, right? And it was more of an awareness that we were present in the moment of recognizing that we weren't feeling like we used to. The fact that we have been putting God first.
Right.
The fact that we have been finding our own locations of tithing. You don't necessarily have to go to a church to tithe. Right. Tithing is giving, right? And giving is choosing where you want your circulation to go towards, right? For the kingdom of heaven, right? How do you bring the culture of heaven on earth? And what does that look like, right? And so we chose... two different places, two different facilities, two different organizations to do our tithing with, right? And so we take that 10% and we give to God, and then we take another 10% and we pay ourselves, and then we do 30% on our investments, and then we do 50% on our other bills, right? Our lifestyle, right?
In my I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
In my culture, tithing is called means that giving. Umnigelo means giving.
Right.
Is 10%.
Right.
So I believe like in most of I don't know why they say tithing. Where's that coming from? Tithing. Where's that coming from? Where's that word coming from? But I know that in my culture, that's what we call it. And maybe in some other cultures too. Giving your 10%, it doesn't have to literally go to the church, but you're giving it in a certain organization, right? Yes. It's giving. We're not giving back to, we need to understand that we are not giving back. We are just giving to that certain organization, and we're giving back to
we're basically doing the work for God, and we're giving where God needs us to give to
exactly.
So we can multiply the money. Yeah, that's okay, dog. I got you. I'm here for you. So we can multiply what God's wants and desires are for his plan on earth, right? And so I looked up, just for clarity for my people out there and for even myself in the beginning, I was associating tithing with religion. I was associating it with what I knew because I went to church and they were like, oh, they want you to give money, right? And I didn't understand that it's not a human interaction with churches. Yeah. This is bigger. This is what you would do for lordship. This is what you would do for kingdom, right? God has a bigger plan. And I've shared with you guys on our lives about God's plan, but I haven't done it on our actual videos. So I looked up the Hebrew word for tithing. Share that word.
It says ma'asa. I think that's what it says.
Right.
Correct us if we are wrong.
Which literally means a tenth.
Yes.
Or 1/10 portion. And I looked up the Latin word. For the story, these languages are ancient, right? So in understanding that it's before religion even thought of being a religion, right? Yeah. At one point they called them pagans, but I don't want to get too diverted off the plan. I just wanted to highlight the actual meaning of tithing, right?
10%.
And associating it not with religion. This is beyond religion. You are giving to the king, right? The king blesses your finances and give to you for you to bless the movement, to bless the culture, to bless the kingdom, to show with as an ambassadors of the kingdom of heaven, to show the world and show the presence and the culture of how the kingdom of heaven moves.
Right.
So, long story short, I was getting into the concept of how we notice the freedness, how we notice that, wow, we don't have that feeling of bills, being in debt, and my wife was saying the choking. Right? We felt everything's been smooth, cool, calm, and collective, right? And as much as we've been stewardships of every time we get paid, this is what we need to do because we're getting blessed, right? And realizing that it's not me. I just didn't pay for the job. I didn't apply for the job. I didn't per se do it all by myself.
Because if God doesn't want to bless you with the job, he's not going to give it to you at all.
Absolutely.
So you must understand that that's also a blessing.
And I want to be a blessing not only to God but to others, right? I fear the fact of disappointing my father. I fear the fact of disappointing Abba, which is father, which means source. I don't want to disappoint, and I don't want to be in a position to where I'm getting blessed, finances of abundance, and then I'm hoarding onto it.
And also tithing brings order into your finances, into your home. It brings where the money is going to, and you know what percentage is going there, what percentage is going here. I feel like most of the people who teach us about 20, 30, 50 rule in finances, they understand that this is what you need to do. We use it in a different way, which is 20% is paying, 10% is paying tithing, and another 10% pays us, right? And then the 30% goes to investment, and the 50% pays for all the bills and everything else that needs to be paid for in the house. I think also making it your own, taking the 20, 30, 50 and using it the way that works for you is also amazing. It makes sense and it helps you.
So I'm going to give you a biblical principle real quick, and we're going to wrap this section up of step 1. Giving activates the law of increase. The law of increase is a very important law because it activates abundance, right? And you also operate from a place of God-like thought. So this is Luke chapter 6, verse 38. So understanding that the law of giving is what you put out, you get back, right? People usually call karma, but what you're doing is activating the presence of circulation, right? Money is a currency. Money is a flow. So you're activating the giving and the nature of its purpose. You understand that money is not a god to you. You are the master of money, right? The money
You're the one
doesn't
who has to tell it where to go,
what to do.
You don't have to wait for it to. You don't want the money to pull you to go find it.
Correct.
You want go. You don't want the money to pull you to go find I forgot about the bike situation. You don't want it to go find the money. You want to work and then take that money and use it as the source of. You wanted to use it as a source of telling it where to go. Right. Because I literally forgot the statement after the mic situation. I'm thinking.
So when a couple gives together, they set a foundation of abundance, not just financially, but emotionally and spiritually. Dr. Myles Munroe taught that prosperity isn't just hoarding, all right? It's not about hoarding, but it's about using resources for kingdom purpose, meaning it's beyond you. Kingdom purpose mean that you are a part of something more divine and more greater.
Right.
It's about family stability, You're not just giving for yourself. You're giving for the stability of families. My family, my neighbor's family, my block family, my community's family, right? My city's family, right? My state's family, right? My country's families, the world's families, right? And then not only that, it shows generosity. It shows a level of love. If people was foreign on how to experience love, using money for others is a divine way of expressing what God has for us as his children.
Another thing I wanted to add on that is how would your relationship change if money was no longer a stressor?
Wow, that's a good question.
If you didn't have to stress and think about money, and how would it change? How would your relationship look like? How would your marriage look like? How would you look like?
I think you should ask that question again, and then we're going to tell you guys to drop that comment in the...
To answer the question. So the question says, how would your relationship change if money was no longer a stressor?
So leave that response in the comments.
How would it change?
So we're going to go to step 2.
Step 2 is financial stewardship. Create marital stability. Do you want to say anything about that?
Stewardship is managing, right? And if you can...
So let me say it again so that it can be understandable. Step 2, financial management creates marital stability.
And remember, stewardship is management. My perspective on this is it just shows a level of integrity, trustworthiness,
right,
and awareness. If you can focus, what they say, how you do one thing is how you do all things, right? And finances play a big role, because a good concept, making it short and sweet, a good concept that was brought to my light was the devil doesn't have any power.
Ooh.
The one that is truly your master when it comes to, that's why I said the Bible says don't have two masters. You can't serve two masters, right? You can't be an ambassador for two countries, right? That's never going to happen. So understanding that if you had to compare between the devil and money, the devil is at the lowest totem pole. Money is the master, right? Money is the master of most people's lives, right? And so when God says don't have two gods, don't have two kings, don't have two lords, right? You can't serve two masters. He's speaking about mainly what most humans go after, which is money, right? And so chasing the bag is not a concept, guys. Don't do it. All right. Don't let money be the master of you. You be the master of money.
Of the money. And it also creates less fights if you guys do your manage your finances as a couple. It creates less stress, less fights on what did you do? Why did you use that? Why did you buy this? All that stuff. Where did this money go? Why is not the rent is not paid? The lights are not paid for. All the back and forth. But if you know that the money is managed, you guys are going to be on a safe space, and you guys are going to be on a safe mindset that this is what's happening and this is what's going to happen, because we spoke about it and we did it together.
This also shows God on your teamwork efforts, right? And having dominion and everything that God blesses you with on the lands and gives you kingdomship over to manage, right? It shows him how you guys are involved and how you guys are engaged, which increases that marital stability, right? Because it shows the delegation between two minds, right? That come together to focus on the expansion of the territory, of God's territory, right? Because he wants us to invade the lands, right? And colonize. He wanted to colonize the earth, right? With the culture of heaven on earth, right? And that comes with territory, right? So as much as he gives us, because he's King of Kings, Lord of Lords, right? So if he makes us kings and queens, makes another family kings and queens, then they focus on taking over that portion of the land, brings that stability and awareness to it.
So the biblical principle that I want to give you guys on this step, which is step 2, is that Psalm chapter 24 verse 1, it says God owns everything. We are the stewards. So we are the managers of everything that God has given us.
Correct.
So you have to manage it in order for you to duplicate it or multiply it. Yes. And then, do you have anything else to say before I read the question of the day?
Shoot for the star.
Do you and your spouse talk about money openly? Comment down below if yes, if no.
I'd like to repeat that too.
You would like to repeat it? Go ahead.
So I want your answers. We want your answers in the comments. Do you and your spouse talk about money openly, right? If so, tell us how you guys do it. Tell us if you guys have meetings, how often it is, and what you guys can give tips on and perspectives on.
Right. And then number 3, tithing as a covenant will strengthen your marriage.
That's for me.
Yes, that is. We need.
So step 3.
Yeah.
Tithing as a covenant will strengthen your relationship and strengthen your marriage.
Right.
Why? I know that bringing together our awareness on what God blesses us with so that we can multiply everything that God gives us, and so that we can also increase what we give, right? There's a level of giving that I want to exceed to, and there's a level of comfortability of going, right? But also recognizing that you're not coming from a place of lack or a place of fear when dealing with money. You want to make sure that you're coming from the God, right? The Christ conscious, that all this belongs to my Father.
Right.
My Father are one. I am the child of my Father, right? And when you can believe and you can operate from that place, this strengthens the amount of trust, the amount of how we can show up together to say, even if you give us a little, even if you took everything away from us and we had to start from zero, we can do it all over again, because we are great and we know how. We are great enough with the skills to understand how to manage whatever you give us, God. And we're going to demonstrate it by showing you. So a biblical principle of this is tithing isn't just about money. It's a covenant with God that covers your household, right? It says when you do this, you are putting God first, which builds spiritual unity.
That's right.
Malachi chapter 3, verse 10. Bring the whole tithes into the storehouse.
Right.
Which means showing how obedience brings financial security to the home. Why we are doing this, we want to encourage you guys on praying over your finances. This is something that we incorporate and something that we continuously incorporate and something that we continuously remind ourselves to do, because it is a habit. You are making it a lifestyle, right? So if you miss a couple times, all fine and dandy, but the focus point is focus on praying over your finances when you get paid, before you get paid, every week, right? As an act of faith and commitment. Bring your center of awareness and focus on, I am doing this not for me. I am doing this not for my wife. I'm not even doing this just for my family. I'm doing this mainly to bring my obedience and the amount of love that I have for you as Abba, and what I want to do to impress, not only impress, but to make you proud. So we're going to move to step 4.
We're going to move to step 4, which is the last step. It says tithing protects your marriage and family legacy.
Ooh.
So I'm going to start by giving you the biblical principle that will sum up what I'm going to say in this point. God rebukes the devourer. I don't know how to devour. God rebukes the devourer when we tithe.
Right.
And that's
Habakkuk. I'm sorry, that's Malachi.
Malachi chapter 3, verse 11.
Yeah.
So firstly, tithing protects over your household. It covers your marriage and kids, right? How does that happen?
Right.
Because firstly, you're organized. You're organized, you're managing, and you're about to duplicate or multiply, okay? Because if you're giving, you're showing the power of being a great manager, right? Being a great stewardship, right? And it also opens the future wealth for you, because now you know where your money goes and how it goes, and you know what you want to do. You're not letting the money tell you where you should go, but you are literally telling it where to go. Right. So there is a bigger chance
You're
of you
expressing dominionship.
Exactly. Yes, you are expressing dominionship. That's right. And it also helps for the generational wealth. If you want to build generational wealth, oh shit. If you want to build generational wealth, it also helps with that. Oh my god. Wow. So our first camera actually
cocked out.
Yes, and then now we have one. So I'm still looking at the one that it's not working. That's what we're laughing about.
So we're gonna give
do you have anything?
We're gonna give you no, I don't have anything. But we're gonna give you the final point on the teachings of Dr. Myles Munroe. Pointing out this, it says often Dr. Myles Munroe spoke about kingdom wealth being generational.
Right.
Kingdom wealth is not. It's not something to sleep on. It's a generational act because you're thinking of kingdomship, which is longevity. Kingdoms focus on longevity, right? A wealthy kingdom can be long, everlasting, if it does it right.
Right.
Right. And kingdom wealth being generational focuses on couples who tithe and manage money wisely, set their family up for long-term success.
That's right.
Right? I think us as children of God, our households need to start focusing on this more often, becoming aware of it, implementing it daily.
Right.
And influencing our children to be aware of it as well. It is a high-level conversation to have, and it also takes away from being independent to be dependent on God.
Right.
It also brings in the awareness of what culture of heaven looks like, right? This is a way of thinking in the culture of heaven. This is the way my neighbors, when we talk on how we serve God.
Even the kids, sometimes they get involved somehow. I don't know how. But recently our daughter, she will ask us, how much do we have in our bank account? I don't know why, but she does that. I guess it's because of when we sit together and speak on our finances and pray about our finances and stuff like that. I think that it gives her curiosity, and she also learns too as well. So do you want to?
The message of the day is we want you guys to start praying over your finances together as a family, bringing focus and awareness on what you need God to give you divine wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on how to move, right? Life is not making a living. Life is not paying bills. It is more to life than this, right? And the point of us bringing this awareness is for us to get together to have like-minded conversations and impress upon your subconscious the possibilities beyond what we've been shown. So we're going to give you the recap really fast. So for the 4 steps of kingdom financial blessings in marriage, number 1, tithing strengthens your marriage covenant. Number 2, stewardship brings financial stability. Number 3, giving leads to increase and relationship blessings. Number 4, tithing protects your family's financial future, right? You express God's abundance. You express the flow and the nature of current money, currency. Money is called currency because it is a flow.
Right.
Current, right? Everlasting.
And also, if this message blessed you, give this video a like, subscribe, and also share it with your spouse or a friend who needs to hear this.
Absolutely. Before we go, we would like to ask you another question. We'd like for you to leave this in the comments. Tell me in the comments, what's one financial goal you and your spouse are working on right now? Let's grow together in faith and finances.
Yes.
And with that being said, stay locked in. God vibes only. And kapow!
Es gostosa e joga.